Guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing really well. Today we've got the Garmin Instinct 3 Tactical AMOLED in for review. Now, it's been a little while since I've done a review on a Garmin smartwatch. I have been faithfully wearing my Phoenix 7 Pro Sapphire Solar, an absolute mouthful, but this watch has been great. Excellent battery life, but something that's always been bugging me is the lack of true tactical features. Now, some of you guys that have been following the channel a little while do know that I've got a tactical background in law enforcement of nearly 2 decades, so some of these features really do matter for me. So you've seen my previous reviews, I've reviewed the other tactical devices, and I'm a big fan of the Instinct line, and this watch is no different, but it is my first personal AMOLED device from Garmin. Now, I bought my wife another Garmin device, another AMOLED one, and compared to my Phoenix, which is the memory in pixel full color display, but it's not an AMOLED, I was just a little bit underwhelmed because the brightness is slightly less, the colors are less vivid, but it does have fantastic battery life. But when this one arrived, I was super impressed. You can see here, this screen is just absolutely popping. Excellent visibility at tight angles there. You can see there, even with a camera and all the lighting, etc. This is extremely visible, and it does adjust. And of course, as soon as you wrist gesture it, you get that really nice vivid display there. Of course, you have all of Garmin's features: health tracking, training, plus all the tactical features you might expect, including navigation, barometer, ABC, etc. So this is no different from any other high-end Garmin watch. You've got an excellent compass, altimeter and barometer, very useful features. Even has storm tracking, so that when the pressure drops a certain amount, it will give you an alert. That has helped me before when I've been at altitude. But yeah, fantastic watch. So this is a fiber reinforced plastic. Much like Garmin's other devices, this thing is rugged from the ground up. You can see from its build here the use of materials, heart rate sensor there on the back, and Garmin's plug there. 3 on this side, 2 on the other. This thing is a beast. It does have a flashlight integrated there, which you can double tap that as a short press. Also, when you're in that menu there, you can quickly activate the higher settings. Plus, on MVG mode, it has 4 further green settings, brightest being with it as it is there, plus 3 lower settings when you are under night vision, like my device just there. Double press to deactivate that. Typically, as it is a Garmin, you do have the heart rate tracking, sleep tracking, health tracking, plus your blood oxygen level there, all provided by the Elevate sensor there. That is Garmin's newest sensor. It does differ from the Phoenix line, which has ECG in some countries. They don't have it in my region at the moment, but they do in North America and some places in Europe. So that's pretty cool if you want to keep an eye on that. But yeah, 26mm strap here. You can fit the quick fit straps there. It's a really nice silicone strap, very soft, very pliable. I quite like the slightly indented strap lugs there. They're just quite a nice, subtle design feature there. It just looks really good in my opinion. Again, that soft, supple strap is important. It does have some flex, and it just means that when it's on this wrist, even though it's a 50mm, whereas this is a 47, it just wears a lot smaller than you'd expect though, so it's really impressive. A nice sort of feature on the front here with the bezel design. It's not too flashy, it's certainly matte black, definitely goes along with the tactical design. Unfortunately, I don't have any other colors of this. It's just going to be your matte black tactical. Previous versions had a nice coyote tan kind of look about them. Not available here on this one, but to be honest with you, the only color is black when we are dealing with tactical stuff. So yeah, really good. I've also noticed that this is quite a non-reflective display, and the actual watch itself, the actual display does a very good job of casting off reflections, excusing my studio lights, which are really bright, and all sorts of colours going on, but it does a really good job. It's certainly, the viewing angles are excellent. As you can see there, it works really, really well. So let's talk about this display and some of its features. As I said, it's not a memory in pixel display. That is what I have here on my Fenix 7 Pro Sapphire Solar. I should have made a short name, but basically this has a full color memory in pixel, so it uses a lot less power. It's still very visible, it still automatically adjusts, you still have all the nice colors. This display kind of gets better in the bright ambient lights of outside. So you can see here under my bright studio lights, it works perfectly fine. It's perfectly legible, and it does exactly what the other one does, except for its non-AMOLED display. So this has more power saving features. Then you compare it with the AMOLED Super Vibrant display. It's a 50mm watch itself, weighs 59 grams, and the display resolution is 416 by 416. It's got a 4GB memory. That is increased over some of the older Instinct lines. I can only assume that's because of the tactical features and having to download more information to the watch to enable it to work. You still have all of the features, plus you have all of the tactical stuff. So you've got the Applied Ballistics app. That is so that you can do some shooting solutions. We'll talk about it later. Rucking, Jump Master, everything you'd expect. Plus a ton of activities and more. You can keep going. It's really, really nice. And of course, because of that display, everything is vividly displayed in full color. Plus, as I showed earlier on just slightly, you have all those colors available so that when you are doing things like night vision mode, which really dims down the display and it puts a green hue over everything, or redshift mode, which is really good for late nights, so that you can add a nice red display everything that's soft on your eyes and it doesn't damage your night adapted vision. That is not possible on the full color memory pixel, and it's also not possible on the other tactical watches from Garmin without the AMOLED. So this is unique in that perspective from the Instinct line, certainly unique from the Fenix line. The only ones that really do have the tactical features plus that ability are the AMOLED displays, and unfortunately that's only going to be on the Tactical Instinct 3. You have got that on the Tactix 7 AMOLED, which was released I think late part of last year, and you've got the Tactix 8 AMOLED that's also got that feature. Of course, those being the tactical versions basically of this Fenix line, you know, the super multi-sport watches with that feature. It does have auto dimming. I do wish that Garmin had the function of, if I go into display settings for you quickly, I do wish that when you are using it, they had a manual brightness setting, because at the moment I've got it on maximum here. Even on the lowest, it's really, really good. And it just dims down naturally. So I kind of wish it had a manual setting so you could set it at something like 10%, 5%, ultra low, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's pretty good. You can change the timeout. You can change so much on this watch. So you can change it for activity use. Maybe you don't want, because you're going to be doing activities during the day, maybe you don't want the display on. You can have it change for sleep and also change for night vision. It's got so many options. It is just endless. But yeah, really, really nice. The price on this watch, just going to sort of compare it to the Tactix, is this one is $499, so just under $500. Whereas the Tactix, you're looking at $1279, and the price between the memory in pixel and the AMOLED appear to be the same when I just checked Garmin's website earlier today. So there is quite a price jump for having those features on the Tactix line, but of course you're getting nearly all of the features minus the full color mapping and some of the other more premium things, including the more premium finish. But to be honest with you, the fit and finish of this watch is really, really nice. You will not be disappointed. If you're used to something like an 801, a very nice solid device here from Garmin, It's rugged. You can feel that it's really high quality. Again, it's something that's not going to let you down, and it's something that's not going to annoy you. Now, looking at the display, you do have options. You can change the way it looks. Of course, I've got this classic, well, I say new classic Instinct 3 display here. It's really cool. You can change the colors on this. I can just do it here for you now. You can cycle through all sorts of different colors. There is a super funky one. That's the super funky one. So simply you can apply it. You can change the data fields to your heart's content. Some are fixed, some are adaptable. So this one's quite adaptable. I've got stealth mode on, you can see there. I'll cover that in a moment, but basically that will hide your signal should you have that selected. So that's pretty cool. And also it has a stealth bomber there. So who doesn't like that? Kind of Batman-esque. Just want to show you some of these other nice displays. Again, super vivid, super easy to see. Each of these does have its own always on display kind of feature. So some there will just dim. Again, it's still extremely visible. Analog face there. Again, very nice. These are all user selectable. You can change. That's kind of a classic Mark 1 Instinct look where you've got the heart rate and your compass, etc. Very nice. And again, you can change the color on these. You can change some of the data fields. Some are preset, some aren't. It just goes on and on. This one I downloaded recently. Absolute insanity. Just vivid, bright, clear. Again, looks really funky. Yeah, you can add your own. You can even put pictures of things, your children, all that kind of stuff, all via the Garmin Connect app. So it's got a lot of features that are really useful. If a screen of this clarity is really important to you, this is the one to go for, certainly if you want the Instinct watch. It's a really nice design, very comfortable to wear, and yeah, really nice. If you're looking for more of the classic kind of black and white memory and pixel for the battery saving features, just go for the normal Tactical Instinct 3 because you'll get all of the newer features that afforded this watch, but the display will just be more battery saving. It's ever so slightly cheaper. I think it's $429, $430 depending on where you are. So about $50 increase for this display. But for me personally, that's really worth it. It's just a gorgeous display. Really, really vivid. I really like it. And to be honest with you, if I wanted to improve the battery life and such, there are ways to do that, which I will show you. Speaking about these tactical features, so on the face of it, it does look like any other Instinct except for you have that tactical nomenclature there. So that will give you the extra options. So we've got stealth mode. So I did cover that briefly earlier on. Stealth mode basically means that when you are doing an activity, of course this watch will be tracking your location, your GPS, such like you'll be able to navigate with it to different coordinates or save locations. You can input those via the Garmin app, so you can add waypoints, etc. Make your own routes to a destination, or at least point-to-point navigation. But once you've done an activity, if stealth mode's activated, basically it means that the watch won't save the route you took. So that could be important to you if you're doing something that's operationally sensitive, or that you just don't want it to know where it's been. Maybe that's what you want it to do, or maybe it's just a cool thing to have switched on. So you can turn it on and off very simply there. Another feature is redshift. Now this is only available on the AMOLED devices. Again, that's because of the screen color itself. And then when you do have this selected, basically everything will go red, which will help you with your night adapted vision. Of course, you can use all of the features of the watch. Nothing changes there, but it's dimmer. And again, it's a red color. So again, really useful for you if you are doing something at night and you don't want to destroy your night adaptive vision. You can have this display switch on and off. This could be important to you. And I did notice that in some modes, having it automatically will switch the display off. One, to save battery, but two, also not to give away your position through light exposure. So that could be useful to have on and off depending on what you're doing. Certainly at night time. Night vision mode, let's find it. There it is. So I'm just going to put in a couple of clips of the night vision mode. You'll see there that the watch is extremely legible under nods. So I'll just give a very quick overview about that nod that I'm using. So I do have a binocular setup. They're white phosphor tubes. They're around 2000 FOM. and they are 4G. So in Europe and in certain regions, they're made by Photonis, who are a fantastic night vision company. So with night vision switched on, if you're just under a normal operation, the display will have a green tinge to it. It will reduce the brightness. It'll also switch off the display as it's doing now. And then you can just operate it normally. Again, can use all the functions. The display's much simpler, as you can see here. You can again use stealth mode. You can navigate all the things you want to do. Look at your notifications if you've got those switched on, if it's permissible. Work out everything you need to do. I'll go back to the ABC because I kind of like looking at it. It's kind of cool. So you can do everything on the watch except for it's just much lower. Now we've got bright studio lights here, and it will dim it down to the lowest level it seems fit, and it does go ultra dim. Obviously some devices are auto gated and also auto gain, so that is both those things on my device. So if it was bright, it wouldn't do it too much harm, but it will just look washed out. So you can see from the clips that in actual fact it's easy to see the display, use all the features with the night vision mode engaged. The actual 801 there does have its own night vision mode. Again, it's easy to see even with that MIP display, but with this one it's green. So even if you didn't have nods on but you wanted a very, very low output display, it being green, there wasn't that red color. And also, which is really pretty sweet, is if I just apply my flashlight, my torch, you've got 4 levels of a dimmed light output. So if I get that on this menu here, so I use the sort of quick access sort of hack really, just double press that top button. But on this menu, you've got the flashlight settings, and then you can go from the dimmest all the way up to the brightest, which I think is the standard level on normal mode, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty bright. It's certainly brighter than the red light output on this one, which isn't adjustable. So I love the fact that I can put it on night vision mode and have a very low green light. I think it's probably somewhere around maybe 5 or 10 lumens. I don't see any specs written down for it, but it's pretty low. It's good enough to navigate in a dark room, and it's dim enough. And you'll see there also from the strap. That's probably one of the benefits of the strap. It's got a cowling. It's kind of a shrouded light. So if you are on the side, it's not going to be too, you know, it's not going to give your position away too badly because that's going to be on your wrist. So it's really going to be a directional light. Again, it's very low and dim, and we can turn it off because we're in that flashlight menu there. So that's a really cool feature to have. So battery life and the price of this. Now, one of the things that's really important when you're buying a device like this is its cost. So when you're comparing the Instinct line versus the Phoenix line or even the Tactix line, those are much more expensive devices, and sort of the price per performance ratio could be a lot lower when compared to this guy here. This is $499. Again, it depends on your region, but if you go on Garmin's website, you'll be able to see that. The memory and pixel display ones go from $459, and you can get the slightly smaller display one for $429. Again, check the prices before you're doing it and also shop around for those, but the AMOLED commands the higher price from the tactical line. Now, when I got this Phoenix 7 Pro, this was $900. Again, they've gone down now because you've got the Phoenix 8. You don't have a Pro there, but you do have the Tactix 8, which is basically the big brother of this, the newer one with the newer features, and also the tactical features. So if you're looking at something sort of, like I said, price performance ratio, this is going to win. Again, if you don't need that display, you can go for the longer battery life memory and pixel display, but for me, the display is just absolutely stunning, so that's a big plus for me. At the moment, if you have it in this configuration, and it does tell you, which is really quite useful, if we go to the battery menu here, with it in its current configuration with wrist gestures always on display, etc., we get 9 days of smartwatch use. Now that's with it disconnected to the phone. Obviously have it completely connected to the phone. It might slightly lower it, but I think it's going to be a relatively insignificant amount. If you put the battery saver on, which turns off the display, etc. This one does have up to, it says 24 days at 100%. On the website I noticed it said 30 days. I'm not sure what settings they're using, but if you go by the website, I'm sure they've done lots of testing. And I haven't actually got that far because I got this on release. I didn't get a pre-release, so I haven't been able to test the full battery life. And it seems to be working really well. It doesn't seem to be draining fast or anything like that. Again, you can do things like turn off the heart rate sensor. You can turn off the screen. You can reduce the brightness. All these things will affect the battery life. Not have your phone connected so much. For me, I don't normally have it connected unless I'm doing something. So if I quickly show you a cool way to get into it, you can go through all of these different things, but there's a power manager. So this is a newer feature with the newer Instinct lines. So you've got battery saver, you've got different modes. So when you're doing an activity, you can pick what kind of power you want to use, percentage, estimates, all that good stuff. So you go into battery saver, you can turn it on and off simply like that. So it says 30 days there. Or 9 days with the always, and then basically you can make it alert. So that is quite a big power saver. If you notice, you can have the display on or off and it will save 18 hours. You can disconnect the phone, disconnect that. Always on display can be disabled. Again, reduce the brightness. And that's up to you. So obviously if I selected that, considering the current usage at the moment, so it goes from 30, and if you look, it said in the corner there, up to 10 days. So 30 days, 9 days, but it does say up to 10 days. So I'm interested to see what the extra could be. It could be just due to the display brightness, I guess. When you are using these in an activity mode, the amount of battery will vary. With this, if you use GPS only, it's going to give you 40 hours of use. That is comparable to something like this Phoenix here. And of course, you can change the usage. So of course, if you don't need the heart rate on when you're doing an activity, you can of course turn that off. You can use the different power modes when you are in an activity. So if we pick rucking, for example, press these buttons here, and you've got power modes. So this gives you, so normal 40, you can have extended. You can edit these as well. So that's GPS only, I guess. 56 hours on max battery there. That's max accuracy. Only give you 20 hours. And jacket mode 41. But yeah, you can pick to have what you want on there. And you can do that in all of the ones. Obviously, there's training modes and other things. So it's just an example of how you can improve the battery life depending on what activity you're doing. They've got a GPS mode called Ultra Track, which is a very low setting, and it only marks your position ever so often. So if you're doing something that's not particularly important and you just want to just have a rough idea of where you've gone, it will still be accurate, but it just won't be. You know, maybe not every second it will take a picture, it will take a reading. Maybe it will be every 10 seconds or every 30 seconds. The watch decides itself, but it just saves on the battery life there. So, and for the price, it's hard to beat these devices. Again, the AMOLED one will have a lower battery life than compared to the memory and pixel. So again, if that screen brightness isn't an issue for you, but battery life is, maybe you need to lean the other way. So what's my verdict? So I've had every evolution of the Instinct watch series so far, and they keep getting better and better, and this one's no different. There's more features, there's better sensors, and there's more technology, better battery life. Obviously with this one being the AMOLED one, the battery life isn't as strong as the other versions. Some of the other versions, depending on your climate, if you've got a lot of solar charging, they can be run unlimited. So that will assume a certain amount of hours per day charging. But, and I've had it in the past where I've had 50 days use on one of my devices in the summer here in the UK. And yeah, not had to charge it, which is pretty amazing really. Obviously, the more activities you do, the solar charging then kind of extends the runtime rather than charge the watch up from zero. So don't expect it to charge it from zero when you're going outside. You might gain a small amount of percentage if you're doing an activity, or if the watch is just in a normal mode, just kind of sitting as it is now, slowly charging. What you might find is the watch doesn't use as much energy as the solar can provide, so it can be really good. So really, this tactical watch, it is aimed at guys and girls out there who are doing tactical stuff. If you don't need to use night vision, if you're not fussed about the super bright and fresh vivid display, then you could go for the normal tactical one. If you're not at all worried about tactical features but you love the look of the watch, the Instinct, then just a normal one will be fantastic. You've got different size options. Again, some have solar charging, and I think they also have AMOLED if you want that. So non-tactical AMOLED watch, you can get that. For me, I have to now make a decision which one of these I want to keep. Now, this one is fully featured, has excellent battery life. I actually don't remember the last time I charged this. It must be at least 2 weeks, and it's on 65%. And I have been using it recently for events. This one obviously is the new kid on the block, and I need to go and do some more stuff with it. But so far, the display is absolutely fantastic. If I compare the new to old prices, this one would win just purely on what it offers me and at the price point. It still saves me money. Like I said, I could have got this and one of those for the price of this when it was new. Obviously nowadays you have to consider that if you can get one of these, they might be out of warranty period now, but if you can get one of these, say for argument's sake, they were available on Garmin's website for about 660 English, so probably about 700 bucks. Then the price is getting closer to one of these, and then you have to think about whether or not you want to get a new one, one that's pre-loved and worn before, in good condition of course, or do you want to just get a new device with that warranty and all of the newest features possible. So when you're looking at that and you consider the performance you get out of something like this, which is just stacked with features, it's hard to go wrong really. And certainly if you don't want the display features, or you don't even want the tactical version, this watch is a really good investment, and it will serve you really, really well. You'll be able to do all of your fitness activities. You'll be able to use it as a smartwatch, a very solid smartwatch. You'll be able to do all sorts of things with it. Obviously the tactical ones have more features, which clearly here you can do shooting stuff, tactical stuff. That tactical profile is on other watches. It just gives you more screens, but this one will definitely have the Jump Master, night vision modes and things like that. And certainly if you are doing night-based operations, the Redshift, the MVG mode is an absolute winner for me. And especially with the display performance and the colors that you have available. You could see from the night vision footage how clear the display is. Obviously that does depend on your night vision, so if you have got an older device with a lower FOM rating, maybe an older tube, that's going to affect all of the image, not just looking at a device like this. So guys, with that being said, this is the Instinct 3 Tactical with the AMOLED display. I think it's a really great watch. It's probably going to be one of my top watches for 2025 in the tactical space of smartwatches. Let me know what you think, guys. Add a comment, like, subscribe. If it helps you out, do let me know by hitting that like button. And if you want to stay up to date with the latest things we've got going on, just hit that subscribe button. Guys, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.